One day after her election by the Assembly, the new temporary Chief Prosecutor, Arta Marku, was introduced to the General Secretary of the Assembly, Drought. From Brussels, Prime Minister Rama expressed his conviction that Albania fully deserves integration in the EU while refusing to comment on the parliamentary situation created by the opposition. In 2040, Albania will likely be suffering from water shortages as a result of what researchers say is the mismanagement of water's resources. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 19th of December 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. In a similar vein as the US, the European Union today condemned the violence of yesterday's protests and the behaviour of MPs during the temporary Chief Prosecutor's voting session in the Assembly. In a press release distributed by the press office of the European Union delegation, it is said that democratic processes such as parliamentary sessions or protests should be developed peacefully. The EU condemns violence used in yesterday's protests and the behaviour of the Parliament members in the plenary session. Democratic processes such as parliamentary sessions or protests should be allowed to develop peacefully. Albanian citizens ask their elected representatives to show leadership and responsibility, as well as to work in partnership on the pursuit of important reforms that are crucial to achieving Albania's aspiration to join the EU, reads the statement from the EU delegation. Arta Marku took office 24 hours after being voted in as the new provisional chief prosecutor, amid tension and violence in Parliament. She arrived this morning at the central accusation body while Adriatic Lala was waiting for her in the office. As it is foreseen in the protocol, the temporary chief prosecutor was accompanied by the guard's escort, who escorted her after taking the oath in the Assembly. Marku entered from the back of the prosecutor's office, while Adriatic Lala arrived only 30 minutes in advance using another vehicle made available by the guard and entering via the front entrance this time. Arta Marku was accompanied by the Secretary-General of the Assembly, Drought. It has been learned that the General Secretary of the Prosecutor's Office was also present at the meeting that lasted for about 30 minutes in her new office. At the end of the meeting, she accompanied Adriatic Lala to the outside door. Lala did not want to talk to the media, though the interest was significant. The temporary chief prosecutor started the first day of work with an activity held between the Assembly, the Presidency, and the independent institutions. From Brussels, where he is attending the meeting between the High Representative for Foreign Affairs of the EU, Federica Mogherini, and the leaders of the Western Balkans, Prime Minister Rama stressed that Albania does deserve EU integration. I am fully convinced that Albania fully deserves the opening of membership negotiations. Even tonight, both at the meeting and at the dinner of Prime Ministers, it was clear that there is a strong will on the part of Brussels institutions to continue this process for Albania and for other Western Balkan countries, said Rama. Asked about the situation created in Parliament for the vote on the temporary chief prosecutor, Rama said that he did not want to converse about local parties using English. When I speak in a foreign language, I speak about Albania as a whole. I do not speak about the local parties. So even today, I have talked about Albania, and of course, I have tried to overcome the difficulty created by the opposition's behaviour, not by blaming the opposition, but by focusing on Albania and the Albanians. The negotiations will not be opened for a single party. They will be opened for Albania and all Albanians, said Rama. During the meeting, Mogherini underlined the need for Western Balkan partners to accelerate with reforms. As the President of the European Commission, Juncker emphasised that in September 2018, a unique opportunity is expected to be presented to the region to make concrete steps in the path towards EU integration. As the news of flooding across the south of the country dominates the media year after year, it may be hard to believe that southern Albania is on the verge of entering a drought phenomenon. However, according to a study published by the World Resources Institute and the OECD, by 2040, Albania will be one of the countries suffering from water shortages, or, in the exact words of the study, will be part of a region stressed for water. Water reserves are expected to be lacking, with reservoir levels ranging from 40 to 80%. This region does not only cover Albania, but also the rest of the Balkans. The researchers explain that there are several causes that are expected to bring on this extreme situation, among them the growth of the world population and the use of more water, which accelerates hydrological cycles. Another factor that remains a significant problem, according to the study, is the mismanagement of water. Researchers suggest that the key to preventing such a catastrophic situation is simply better management of water resources. In this study by the World Resources Institute, the water situation of 167 countries was analysed, of which 33 are likely to face severe water shortages by 2040. The high-risk map also warns of water shortages in the Middle East and North Africa. Minister of Infrastructure and Energy, Damian Jiknouri, has denounced to the Serious Crimes Prosecution Office 2 former officials and current leaders who are accused of abusing their duties. This denunciation comes after the end of an audit conducted on the Albanian Road Authority regarding the implementation of contracts for the construction of the Tirana-Elbasan Road. Denunciations were made against the following persons: Dashamir Gjika, the former General Director of the Albanian Road Authority in Tirana; Axel Çorduka, former Director of the Tirana-Elbasan Road Management Project; and Alben Zalite, Director of the Tirana-Elbasan Road Project Management Unit near the Albanian Road Authority in Tirana. Sources told Aura News that the economic damage caused by these violations reached the value of $53,983, while financial discipline violations have been ascertained to the value of $16,177. As a result of this denunciation, the initiation of criminal proceedings against the accused persons is required for committing the criminal offence abuse of duty. Since its inauguration, the Tirana-Elbasan Road has hosted a series of problems. Just a few days ago, the collapse of a massive rock blocked the national axis and turned into a potential risk for vehicle drivers. The Church of St. Prokop at the Lake of Tirana Park, built in 1780, will be reconstructed. This good news for believers was given by the Mayor of Tirana, Erion Veliaj, who joined the action of planting another 100 trees at the park. The church and its surrounding environment will be fully restored to its original identity. As we near towards the Christmas period, we also have news for the church that is located at the lake, which was destroyed during the communist era. The famous Church of St. Prokop was turned into a restaurant, but today has returned as a church, though it continues to look like a Soviet-style bar from the 70s or 80s. We have made a decision to restore the church as it was originally built, to make sure that not only the faithful communities, but also the lake that was built around the Church of St. Prokop return to their full identity, said Erion Veliaj. The mayor stated that the restoration of this cultural object and the rehabilitation of the Grand Park space create a small jewel in the capital. This church will be a place that has the identical characteristics of the old church that was ruined. Along with the amphitheatre complex, the cemetery of soldiers, the new multifunctional sports field, and the trees we have planted, I can proudly say that we have created a small jewel of Tirana, said Erion Veliaj. Focusing on the action of planting 100 new trees, Mayor Veliaj explained that the latest additions were to line the 1,000 cypress trees street within the artificial lake park with real trees, bringing the name more to life. The road begins at the Orthodox Church and ends at the Faculty of Geology and Mining. He said that December was a record month for donations of trees from citizens and businesses, reaching the number of 20,000. It was a record-breaking month for tree donation in just the municipality of Tirana. Taking into account the parks and the planting parts within the city, we had over 20,000 donated trees beyond the fund of the municipality itself. This means that people have used the holiday atmosphere, a birth or birthday, or a commemoration to give the city a tree, said Erion Veliaj. Veliaj thanked the citizens and young volunteers for their solidarity in assisting the initiative of the municipality of Tirana to add more green areas to the capital. Donating objects or items is great, but donating your time means you have donated a part of your life. So I thank you wholeheartedly, all the volunteers, high school and university students, for having finally realised that planting trees is very important. This is an excellent philanthropic display beyond the age of our young people, said Erion Veliaj. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.